What's up, nerds? It's your boy, the OG GM, coming to you live from a small island off the coast of Costa Rica, affectionately referred to as Site B, here in sunny Southern California. It's Friday. It is May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. Happy Cinco de Mayo to all of you out there. It's about 8:30 in the morning on the 5th day of May. It's about 55 degrees and cloudy here in this lovely beach town that I live in. It's time to take a look at another little bit of tabletop role-playing game news from the gift that keeps on giving, that is Wizards of the Coast. Didn't Professor Dungeon Master get a little slack for talking about Wizards of the Coast way too much? And he was like, no, that's only about 20% of what I talk about. I'm sure somebody's going to go, dude, all you talk about is Wizards of the Coast. You really need to talk about other stuff. It's like, well, really, what would there to be to talk about in the gaming industry if Wizards of the Coast wasn't being regularly stupid? I mean, it's the number one source of gaming news. And then we see how the rest of the gaming world responds. And then we get the stories, you know? But it always goes back to, what stupid thing is Wizards of the Coast going to do today? And not to be let down, the gift that keeps on giving, that is Wizards of the Coast, has released a community update. The first of many community update. They're now going to provide us with a central location for everybody to stay up to date on what everything they have planned going forward with whatever it is they have planned for 2024. So this is a follow-up to the Creator Summit and the assorted topics that came out of the Creator Summit and what they're thinking today. So this covers April through June and everything that happened before April and everything they think that's going to happen by June. So I guess we'll get the next one of these sometime in June. I don't know. Let us see how many times while reading this, I say, I told you so. How many times while reading this, they actually mention the game. And if there's something that just happened in tabletop role-playing game D&D news that they don't mention, and you're going to go, well, why didn't you mention that? So first up, the core rulebooks. Once again, they wanted to assure us that the new whatever it is coming down in 2024 is not a new book. It is not a new edition. It is not D&D 5.5. It is not D&D 5.1. It is not Dungeons & Dragons 6th edition. It's no longer one D&D. They've changed that name. It is now 2024. It is now 2024 because they haven't given it a name yet. And they want us to be completely reassured yet again that it is 100% backwards compatible, even though by reading the playtest and listening to what Chris Perkins told us flat out, we know that it is not backwards compatible. Maybe 80% backwards compatible, but yeah, whatever. I mean, sure, it could be backwards compatible. Everything is backwards compatible to anything else, as if you want to fidget and home rule it, but then what's the point? We're going to fidget and home rule it. That's not, it shouldn't have to. They also want us to know that in regards to the 2024 core rule books, it is going to be very much associated with, part of, incorporated into D&D Beyond and the virtual tabletop and the inevitable digitization of the hobby. The next thing they want everybody to know about, so that was one time they actually mentioned the game, is they're going to be supporting the schools. They're going to be supporting the schools. Remember when I reached out and got that free stuff? Well, that's going to be coming around again. So if you want to maybe try and get some D&D free shit from Wizards of the Coast, I'll let you know as soon as they post the next one. We can get more, that's the Educators Hub, and that's how I got that free stuff. So we'll try and get that again. There's going to be a D&D inspired teaching kits that you can get for free. You have to download them, which means you still have to pay for printing them yourself. There's the D&D kits that I got. And then there's going to be a D&D Beyond Educators license. We are excited to offer qualified organizations access to tools like the Character Builder and the selection of rulebooks and adventure products at no cost on D&D Beyond. Look for details on how to sign up in the next couple of now. So you too could become an official D&D Beyond educator. Am I going to apply for that? Of course I am. Then they wanted to know about accessibility, accessibility being a big thing, diversity, accessibility, influence, embracing multiple cultures and individuals, making sure that it's accessible to players with disabilities, players who are maybe speak different languages. We want everybody to know that we are completely accessible, integrated, and diversified. Mind you, we haven't released this information in pretty much any language except English. We haven't made a Braille version yet. There was nobody doing sign at any of these live action things that we've done, but we're accessed. And we're going to make sure that it's access to people with disabilities by, I don't know, Braille, sign language, making the words bigger for people with difficulty. I don't know how you're going to make it more accessible to the disabled than it is now. But okay. Then we want you to know that there's a lot of important information. We understand that people are confused, but we want you to know that the front door for Dungeons and Dragons is D&D Beyond until we take it down. And that the other D&D websites are going to be taken down, if not already taken down. It is going to be the front door for all things D&D on the internet. If you want to use anything to do with D&D, it's going to be on D&D Beyond. Want to get dice, D&D Beyond. Books, D&D Beyond. Articles, D&D Beyond. Educator information, D&D Beyond. Check out video games, D&D Beyond. Play around with a character randomization, D&D Beyond. Nothing else. It's got to be in D&D Beyond. Now, yes, so the complete digitization of Dungeons and Dragons and the complete conversion of all things into D&D Beyond, which of course it's going, oh, what's that say? Marketplace, right? The very next thing is Marketplace. So I don't know, that's 2 times. That's 2 so far. Where I told you they were going to do this, but okay. And only 1 mention. So we got 1 mention of the game, 2 mentions of things I said they were going to do. Oh, look, here's a 3rd. One of the biggest pieces of news is coming out of the subbase was our intention to introduce a marketplace on D&D Beyond. A marketplace. Now, if you're not familiar what a video-inspired marketplace could be, that's where you pay real money for digital stuff. And I'm not talking I'm paying you real money to get a digital copy of the book that will only work on D&D Beyond, that may or may not work on my, phone. And I don't mean that, oh, I'm paying you money to get a PDF that I can maybe later print out, but I will always have. No. This is digital currency for real money. So you're going to give them real money in exchange for things that you can only use on D&D Beyond. Like maps. Okay, well, maps is good. I like maps. Can I use this with a VTT? Only our VTT. And character sheets. Okay, character sheets are good. I mean, I can print those out, right? And I can use those character sheets with other things, right? And books, right? All the books are going to be digitally available now. So I'll pay you money for digital books, right? Because there's no physical version and because I can print these out eventually if I wanted to, right? It's not saying you can't print them out. So really what you're saying is that if I want to, buy a cloak that flows in the wind and attach it to the picture of my character, I'd have to do that. Yeah, that's basically what we're saying. So it's exactly what the OGM said you were going to do like months ago. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. As I remember when I said they were going to do this and people were like, well, no, they're not. Like one other person, DM Bloodworth and I were like, this is going to happen. It's going to be digital. You're going to be spending $30 a month to get that digital blue hair and, be able to get a digital copy of a book because there's no physical book available anymore. And it's all going to be locked in D&D Beyond. You won't be able to use it anyplace else. You won't be able to print it out. It's all going to be digital. So make sure you got a good phone. I said that. DM Bloodworth and I said that. And people were like, that's not going to happen. They'll never do that. They'll never turn D&D Beyond into a video game. They'll never have the third party D&D marketplace like Path of Exile or Fortnite does. Yep, they do. Right there. They are. So sorry, it's happening. That's 3 times. And they have some events coming up. They're going to be at Gen Con because remember, they want everybody to know that we haven't been on Gen Con and in conventions for a while, but now we're going back to conventions because we haven't been on conventions. Excuse me, Your Honor. I would like to present the evidence that Magic the Gathering officially sanctioned tournaments and D&D Adventures League's officially sanctioned tournament and Wizards of the Coast officially sanctioned stores all our Wizards of the Coast being at conventions. Well, Your Honor, I would like to say in response to the OGGM that yes, technically they are at the conventions, but there's no actual booth with a giant, statue of Drizzt and any actual representative of Wizards of the Coast at these conventions. So you're saying that judges for the Magic the Gathering and Adventures Leagues are not official representatives of Dungeons and Dragons, even though they are, and those are officially sanctioned Wizards of the Coast events? No, Your Honor, we're not saying they are, and we're not saying they're not. We just want everybody to know, again, that we're going to be back at conventions because we left, because we're better than conventions. But now we're going back because we're desperate for people to recognize us. If you're interested in what's going on in the virtual tabletop, they want you to know it's still in development. It's still in the alpha stage, so we might see something eventually. And what are our preliminary thoughts coming out of the April 2023 Creator Summit? It was challenging, and we lost control of it. Running it, and this is so in Reflex, let's reflect upon it. Running the digital physical event meant that the experience was subpar. Conventions start better conversations start better from a shared understanding, you think? We need to come to you where people already gather. So yes, and we should probably maybe also make sure we don't invite people who are there with a negative events plan, like let's invite somebody who has only never ever said nice things about us, like Professor Connie Chang, to our digital event, and then hopefully she won't try and turn it into something about her and her ideas, because that's probably what we shouldn't have done. So let's see. Yep, so there's at least 3 I told you so's in here. There's only 1 actual mention of the game. No other actual mentions of Dungeons and Dragons 2024 in here. And there's one thing that they don't mention at all in here, which you think they would. There's one thing that they don't mention at all on here, which you think that they would. And that's the fact that Honor Amongst Thieves is now available to view on Amazon Prime. You think they would want people to know that. That would be important. That might even be the #1 community update that they'd want to tell people to, hey, it's on. TV, you could watch it from home. It's only $20, which is more than you would have paid to see it in the theaters. But hey, how do you want to spend Cinco de Mayo? You should watch our show. It's on Amazon, not Paramount Plus, the company that helped us make it, but on Amazon. But no, what's the #1 thing they want us to know? That there will be a 2024 core rulebook, that it will totally not be something new and different, and it is totally going to be all about virtual and D&D Beyond. That's the first thing they want us to know. What's the second thing they want us to know? We're going to be sporting schools, which means more free stuff that OGGM can get. What's the third thing they want us to know? That they're going to be more accessible. What's the fourth thing they want us to know? Everything is going to be on D&D Beyond. What's the fifth thing they want us to know? Downloadable, pay-to-use content, just like in Fortnite and Path of Exile. What's the sixth thing they want us to know? We're going to be at conventions. We think the conversation thing that we had might not have been as successful as it could have been. And that's everything we want people to know. That only 1 mention of the actual game and no mentions of what the actual plans for the game was. And everything else is going to be about us going digital. No mention of the movie. No mention of the movie whatsoever. So once again, it's time to go. Why Wizards of the Coast? Just stop. Just stop. Hire that press secretary already. I don't need to know stuff I already knew. I don't need to tell people stuff I already told them. What we need to know, is perhaps the name for the product that's coming out in 2024 and what your actual plans for the game going forward are in 2024, because we still have no freaking idea. It doesn't even have a name. All we know, it's D&D Beyond, and it's not a new edition, even though it's totally a new edition. Chris Perkins said so. listen to his interview yet again. No mention of the show. Yeah. So I'm sorry yet again. I told you guys it was going to go digital currency for digital content. People said, no, it wasn't. DM Bloodworth and I both said it. People were like, no, that's never going to happen. A couple other of us were like Tanker, and everybody was like, yeah, this is going to happen. They're turning into a video game. It's going to follow the same format that Fortnite and Among Us and all these other pay to get digital nothing. And the people are like, no, Wizards of the Coast would never do that. D&D Beyond would never do that. It's totally not a video game. Yep, yeah, it is. They're literally saying yet again is they're going to have a marketplace. They want D&D Beyond to be the front door for your access to Dungeons and Dragons. That means D&D Beyond is more important to them than the friendly local game store and you purchasing a player's handbook at the friendly local game store and somebody at the friendly local game store teaching you how to play. They want to be able to have it in a controlled environment like schools where the teachers have to follow a script so as to not, upset anybody. And they want to make sure that your first access to Dungeons and Dragons playing is through the digital marketplace of D&D Beyond. They don't want you to know that you can get a player's handbook at a friendly local game store. They don't want you to know that there are people out there who will teach you the game that aren't being monitored like the teachers are. They want you to know. They don't want you to know any of that. They want you to know that the front door is D&D Beyond. So whatever the player's handbook is in 2024, that's not what they want you to know. That's not what they want the front door to D&D to be. They want it to be D&D Beyond because they need your digital money in the digital marketplace to buy digital stuff that has actually no value in the real world. Yay! And I did that all in under 20 minutes. So that's the Wizards of the Coast news for today. Are you excited? Is there anything in there that just fills your heart with joy? Do you think I'm wrong? Please let me know what you think I'm wrong about this time. So 3 months from now, I can laugh at you again. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Help me hit 2,000 subs by the end of the year. Please remember, this is my job. So if you're feeling generous, consider supporting the OGGM. And that's the best way to support the OGGM is either to sign up for my Patreon, which is soon going to have Patreon exclusive material on it, or head on over to Big Geek Emporium and buy my merch. That's right. I have 11 issues of Minion on a Mission monster-centric zines available for purchase on D&D Beyond. The 12th will shortly be available. But right now, I've got 11. So if you're interested in supporting me, that's probably the best way to do it, or the Patreon or the Ko-Fi. That's it. Now we'll return to the regularly scheduled news that has nothing to do with Wizards of the Coast. If you appreciate the new format, let me know what you think. Till then, have a great day.